just want everyone to know that I'm coming to you from my car, because this is what happens when you procrastinate on writing. Sorry. Next up, we have Lady Sif, created by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Sif made her first appearance in Journey into Mystery, issue number 102, in March of 1964. She was a supporting character for Thor, so she was a prominent character in the pages of The Mighty Thor as well, beginning with issue number 136 in January of 1967. She made several guest appearances among the pages of the titles The Avengers, Fantastic Four, The New Mutants, Silver Surfer, and Thunderstrike. In June of 2010, Sif starred in a self-titled one-shot written by Kelly Sue DeConnick and artist Ryan Stegman. This one-shot deals with the aftermath of Loki taking control of her body while her consciousness was being forced into the frame of an elderly dying woman. Journey into Mystery, issue number 646 in November of 2012 was the marking of a shift in focus from Loki to Lady Sif. Written by Catherine Eminem and Valerio Schetti, the series ran for 10 issues before it was canceled. Now, I have done quite a few episodes now, and titles are constantly changing and being rebooted or canceled or retitled, but surely you'll notice by now that there is a trend of when focus shifts from being a male story to a female story, all of a sudden the publication isn't worth the time, energy, money anymore, and they cancel it. You cannot possibly convince me that Journey into Mystery as a solo title was pulling in so much money that you noticed any significant change in sales when you started letting Sif tell her story. Sif is an amazing warrior, the best female fighter in Asgard, and I'd love to see more solo stuff with her, not just on the page, but I mean in the MCU. I'd love to see her back in the MCU. You know what I actually want? I want to see her in the MCU and have her and Valkyrie rule Asgard together and fight together while they fall in love. Alright, I will be right back after this short commercial break. Next segment. Are you ready? Alright, we're back, and we are back to talk about Zatanna. Created by Gardner Fox and Murphy Anderson, Zatanna's first appearance was in the 4th issue of Hawkman in November of 1964. She is the daughter of magician Giovanni Zatara, who was part of the golden age of comic books. She makes her living as a stage illusionist prior to discovering her real magic abilities, which she happened upon while investigating her father's disappearance. She is, of course, scantily clad for absolutely no reason, and her first main story arc was focused around finding her father. She was also featured as a backup character in Adventure Comics and Supergirl from 1971 to 1973. She gains her Justice League membership in Justice League of America, issue number 161 in December of 1978. Zatanna's origin gets some expansion with a 10-page short story in DC Special Blue Ribbon Digest number 5 in November to December of 1980. As it revealed new details about her mother and how her quest to find her father began. During her time with the Justice League, her powers are diminished. Surprise, surprise. So she can only control the 4 elements. She starred in a backup feature in World's Finest Comics in issues 274 through 278, and the limitations on her powers are reversed in issue 277 in March of 1982. In her post-crisis existence, she appears in the Books of Magic limited series written by Neil Gaiman, and in 2005, Zatanna had her own 4-issue limited series as part of Grant Morrison's Seven Soldiers event. Zatanna makes her way in and out of the Justice League over the years, really only joining up with the team when there is a truly serious big bad to fight. It was retconned once or twice that she and Batman had a really strong friendship, though it was always verbalized and never actually shown. So you should be able to tell just how much effort DC puts into these origin retcons. For those of you who can't pick up on my sarcasm, it's none. They clearly put no thought, effort at all into these, and it's exhausting. Like, if you're not going to flesh it out completely, why say it? Why do it? What's the point? Nothing. Okay. So that concludes the ladies of 1964. I want to introduce a new segment to the podcast today that will hopefully entice some more interaction from you guys. It's called Is This Fridging? We have talked about women in refrigerators, but it's a lot easier to explain when you can look at character deaths that you've seen on TV or in movies and analyze them instead of it just being an abstract idea. So I actually had a discussion about this first one recently. With everything that's coming out about Joss Whedon, I found that people are really trying to just negate everything his work has ever done. And that in of itself is problematic because all of these feminists and champions for strong female characters seem to forget that we would have no strong female characters. We wouldn't have, they would still be, I mean, they are still being over-sexualized, but we would not have what we have right now if it was not for Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So get off of it. You're trying to analyze it, you're trying to find problems, but I guarantee I can debunk every single thing that comes out of your face. If you release some slanderous shit about Buffy out of your mouth, I guarantee I can debunk your thought process because it's BS and it's rooted in hating Joss. I don't give a what you feel about Joss Whedon. I do not care. But Buffy is an excellent piece of work. It is an excellent piece of writing and direction, and every female character in that show is represented wonderfully. I will not be taking questions or comments. However, if you want to argue, you know I'm always down to argue because I don't engage unless I'm right, so I would not invite this unless I knew for a fact I could just squash your entire thought process. I promise I've seen Buffy more than you. Doesn't matter how many times you've seen it, I have seen the show more than you have. I'm better at analyzing it. It's literally all of what I do if we haven't gotten it at this point. But the first one I want to talk about is someone brought up Tara as fridging. No? Incorrect. Hard no. And here's why you're wrong. Fridging. Several elements. By definition, it needs to be to make it fridging. A female character dies to further the plot of a man. Her death is never acknowledged again. And pre-death, she had to have, just gotten a personality. They just made you like her. She was designed to be killed in order to further the plot of whatever male character is at the center. So she fits none of the criteria, first of all. Second of all, is it sad that her and Willow just got back together before she died? Yes. Does it make sense? Yes. Does it make sense to have her be the catalyst for Willow going off the rails, being that Willow got sober, cleansed from magics, for Tara? Also yes. It does nothing but enhance her Willow's character. The word fridging belongs nowhere near Tara's death. You want to have problems with it, that's fine. I loved her too. I will never get over it either. But there was nothing, he didn't do her dirty, okay? That's not how it works. Joss kills lots of characters. Go watch Firefly and be upset about Wash's death. Tara was not fridged. Not fridged. Didn't happen. Wasn't fridging. Okay. Next, and I've heard this one because it's more recent, Natasha in the Avengers, in Endgame. Now, I can see where people are coming from with this one. This one has a decent argument. However, I'm going to debunk this one too. This one's not fridging either. Just because a female character dies, by the way, guys, that does not make it fridging. Natasha's death was the best way to do that. It was circular. It closed out both her and Hawkeye's character arcs as well as their friendship. In fact, that scene probably made the most sense out of the entire movie. If you remember in the first Avengers where she says, Barton was sent to kill me, he made a different call. He saved her. He brought her into the Avengers. He saved her. He has a family now. So her saving him at the end and solidifying their friendship and how much they've gone through together, it was circular writing. It was beautiful. It's not fridging. Second of all, it was her choice, not the choice of someone else. And her choice was very in character. Also not fridging. Third, it didn't further the plot point of a man. I mean, technically it did, since without her there, the rest of the main Avengers are men. But it furthered the plot line of the team. She didn't just sacrifice herself for Clint. She sacrificed herself for everybody and the rest of the world. Not fridging. I understand that that seems to be a knee-jerk reaction when a female character dies. Next week we'll talk about ones that absolutely were fridging, but these two, not fridging. They fulfill exactly zero of the criteria for it to be fridging. I understand people are upset Natasha didn't get a funeral. However, doesn't mean she was fridged, guys. There just wasn't time. It was already a 3-hour and 2-minute movie without the re-release where it was 3 hours and 12 minutes. Get over it. She's not coming back. Just let it go. Anyway, so if you were wondering if your favorite female character was fridged, or you know she was and just want me to rant about it, I'm good at it, or you want to give a good example of an acceptable character death, please email fangirlproductions13@gmail.com, or Instagram message me at fangirlproductions13, or tweet me at fangirlproductions. I am very, very reachable, guys, so shoot me a message and we will discuss all your fridging concerns. Thank you all, and I'll talk to you next week.